All right, so moving into and out of the cell, right? Mm-hmm. So there's two ways, main ways that things move in and out of the cell. Okay, so the first one is diffusion. Diffusion is for very small molecules, okay, for the most part like air, okay, carbon dioxide and oxygen mainly. These are very small molecules, and they have to be able to move freely in and out of the cell. Okay, so diffusion is just like if you are sitting in a crowded room and it's a small room and there's a whole bunch of people in it. What do you want to do? You want to spread out, right? Or if you spray a little bit of air freshener in the corner of a room, eventually the person across the room is going to smell it. That's because diffusion is just when things spread out. So it always goes from high to low concentration. Okay, the concentration being, so if there's a cell here and there's a very high concentration of carbon dioxide, it wants to leave the cell. And because it's a gas and because it's small, it can pass. So here's a cell membrane, right? Pretend like it's going all the way around. Cell membranes are made of two layers of phospholipids, right? These phospholipids go all the way around to protect the cell. That's what makes up the cell membrane. Gas, like oxygen, carbon dioxide, and everything, can pass through these layers because it's so small. Okay? So it can move in and out just like we breathe in and out, right? So diffusion is always from high to low concentration. It requires no energy, which what makes it passive transport. Your body just does it. The cells just do it. If water diffuses across a cell membrane, again, water is the same way. It can move in and out in between these small molecules. It does not require any energy. But when water goes in and out, it's called osmosis. Okay, so osmosis only relates to water moving across the cell membrane. Okay, and both of those require no energy. There's also something called facilitated diffusion. Okay, it still does not require energy, but it's for things like, remember we said glucose was important for the cell. Glucose, which is a little bit bigger compound than just H2O, right, or gas, or oxygen and carbon dioxide. There are these things called these protein doorways right here, okay, and the glucose has to move through these doorways to go in and out. Okay, so that's facilitated diffusion. Still requires no energy, but it does have to be facilitated through these doorways. Okay, active transport. So remember we said passive transport was always from a high concentration to a low concentration. So anytime you have to go against that gradient and go from a low to high, it's going to require energy, which is why it's called active transport. So that would be like if we all got in a little bitty room and then we kept trying to add people to that. That would be going against the gradient and would require energy from us to pack more people in that room. There's two main kinds of active transport. Endocytosis. So remember, anytime you see the word cyto, that means cell. Endo means inside. So this is a cell. It's got this big thing out here that it wants to take into itself. So what it's going to do is it's going to kind of wrap around it. Look kind of like Pac-Man or something. That's going to go in, and eventually that cell membrane is going to wrap all the way around it until that molecule or whatever it was trying to take in that was so large is now inside the cell. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then cell exo means outside, so this is the cell wanting to get rid of something, maybe waste or something. And what happens is, we know about the Golgi apparatus and all those things. So those things get rid of waste. What they do is they put a membrane around the waste. The waste goes to the cell membrane, gets right up next to it, and eventually, just the opposite, it creates another membrane here, and so that particle can leave the cell. All of this requires energy from the cell to be expended. So it's giving ATP, giving usable energy, that it's having to expend from the cell to either take in or get rid of either large molecules, or when it has to move molecules from a low concentration into a high concentration, which is not the way that they want to go, right?